guys, it is Carly here bringing you day number 9 of my 31 Days of Horror series. And today we are going to go right back along with the Halloween franchise. We are on Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. So yeah, the plot of this is basically, it kind of leaves off with part 4, much like part 2 does with part 1, how it starts with showing scenes from the first movie. This one starts showing the ending of part 4, and you see Michael get shot down. You assume he has been killed, but in reality he is washed down a stream and comes upon this, I believe they call him a mountain man or a hermit or something like that, and he kind of just passes out there, and that's where he remains for I forget how long, but yeah, so he's there. Meanwhile, his niece, Jaime, aka Danielle Harris, is kind of screwed up from the events that occurred in part 4. Obviously, at the end of part 4, she attacks her stepmom, so she is in a special medical clinic trying to get better, and she's being taken care of by special doctors and nurses and therapists and whatnot. And she is also mute at this point, so it's really hard for her to communicate how she is feeling and things like that. So, but yeah, basically Michael wakes up and comes back to terrorize her once again, try to seek her out and kill her because he's trying to kill his family. So that's basically the gist of it. When I was growing up, Halloween 5 was a movie I really didn't see an issue with. It was one I went back and forth on whether I liked it or found it annoying, but I would always watch it on TV when they would play the Halloween marathons around Halloween time. They would usually play part 4 and 5. Those were the main two. It seemed like they would get played on TV a lot, so I probably watched this one a lot more than some of the other ones, to be honest. So growing up, I didn't mind it too much. I didn't really see many problems or anything like that because I wasn't looking at it with a critical eye. But upon watching it last night, that's when I watched it. I'm recording this review next day, but whatever. Yeah, watching it last night, I definitely saw the problems that I see a lot of people talk about now, because a lot of people put this up there with Resurrection as being one of the definite worst in the franchise, and before I thought that was kind of cruel and just kind of a bold statement, I guess. I didn't think it was that terrible, but there are definitely problems. For one thing, Michael, washing down that stream and he's still clearly alive and things like that. It doesn't make sense that these police just shot him down into this hole and left him there. I understand it was a pretty big hole, but at the same time, you still have to finish the job and find the body because it's literally a human being, and he's also a murderer. So it is best to find that body, make sure it is dead, and actually give it a proper burial. But instead, they just assume he is dead, and in reality, he is, of course, not. So that's the number one problem. And then another stupid thing is kind of with the mask. Now, I know in Halloween 2, it's a different mask, even though it takes place on the same night, but it looks similar enough to the original to be passable. The mask in this one, however, does not look much like part 4's mask at all, really. It looks like it doesn't fit. The hair is slicked back, the facial expressions are slimmer and more pronounced. It's just obviously not the same mask, but they're trying to make it look like he wakes up and puts the mask back on, it's his original mask from part 4, and it's clearly not. So that's just another little issue. And then I always have been pretty annoyed by, sorry about my cat going crazy, typical, but I've always been pretty annoyed by the Jaime character not being able to talk. It's just kind of awkward and just, it's not her fault. It's just the choice they made for this movie. Let's just make it so she can't talk now. She's that messed up in the head that she has gone mute for who knows what reason. And not saying that can't happen, but it's just it's really inconvenient and just stupid. Just the parts where she's trying to talk whenever she freaks out at the costume contest thing. It's just kind of cringy to watch. It's really just like eye-rolly type stuff with her, like her voice is like trying to come back and stuff like that. I just always hated watching that. Even when I was younger, I always thought that was pretty annoying. And then, you know, another thing is, like, kill off Rachel at the beginning of this film, and, you know, it's one of those things where she was, like, the main character in part 4, and then they throw her out of the way immediately in this one. And I really kind of like that character. Like, I didn't find her annoying at all or anything like that. And then you have, like, her friend Tina is kind of, like, the main teenage girl in this, and I find her to be kind of annoying, and also, like, where did she come from? They make it seem like they've been so close for so long and Jaime just loves her, but you see no talk of her in part 4, so that's kind of just random. And then, like I could go on and on, really, with problems. Another thing is really just, like, the house looks nothing like the original house. It's like, they didn't even try to make it look like the original house. I can understand if they did not have, like, the proper, like, I know they were filming in, like, a different state for this one. I think this was filmed in, like, Utah, and the original was filmed in California, so it makes sense to not have the original house, but at the same time, this one looks nothing like it, and it's just silly to me to tell Michael to go home when his home looks nothing like his home, because it is not. That is one thing that always annoyed me, especially since the house is, like, a big part of the ending. And then, for a final complaint, is Dr. Loomis is, I never really realized this before, but he's kind of just randomly placed there. Like, he just, like, pops up out of nowhere, it seems like. It's almost comical. Like, when Jaime's, like, having freakouts or something, like, Loomis is just, like, in the room with these doctors. Like, his head just pokes in between the two of them. And then, like, when they're out in the woods, like, he just happens to be there. And you really don't know why, where he comes from. And I mean, his performance is, you know, it's not too bad. Like, he's obviously going insane. Like, he's obsessed with capturing Michael and killing him and things like that at this point. So he's utterly, like, just crazy, obsessed old man who just wants everything to be done with. So his performance does kind of make sense in this one. I always do like that character no matter what. So I give him props for that. And then, yeah, like, I don't have too many positives for this movie, really. It is pretty bad. Like, you know, it just feels like a setup for part 6. Yeah, like, that's... I still like watching it just because it's a movie I grew up watching, so I can't completely trash on it because it's one that is rewatchable to me. Like, I will rewatch it. I will say, like, a lot of people complain about the mask, but I think it's a little bit creepy, and there's some parts where you see Michael roaming around in the background, and it's just kind of creepy. Like, there's actually a part that I never even really caught on to or realized where he's, like, hiding in a closet, and then he, like, walks out of the closet real slow. Like, I thought that was kind of creepy and cool about it, so I do like that. And yeah, that's kind of about it for positives. I really can't think of too many with this one, but like I said, it's one that I've grown up watching, so I can't give it, like, a 1 out of 10 or anything ridiculous like that. So for this one, I'm just going to give it a 5 out of 10. We'll just say it's just average. I was at a 5.5. I kind of talked myself down considering I just gave it all these negatives. So yeah, 5 out of 10 for a Halloween 5. Not the best in the franchise, kind of all over the place and a mess, but yeah, it is what it is. Thank you guys for watching me for day number 9, and I shall see you all in day number 10.